Learning to improve the healthcare system post-pandemic is very costly and stressful. I'm Dr. Ludmila Schaefer, board-certified medical oncologist specializing in gastrointestinal cancers. Despite insurance gain, about 66% Americans report they are concerned that they won't be able to afford medical care this year. Current healthcare spending threatens the American dream. However, if we dig deep, we can find the ways to navigate to less expensive ways to improve U.S. healthcare system. I would like to share 5 things we need to do to improve the U.S. healthcare system. Number 1, eliminate healthcare disparities and advocate equity for every patient. To study and identify gaps in quality of medical care to every individual and to provide the best experience for everyone. Number 2, set up a partnership between digital technology and healthcare to work collaboratively. The pandemic has strained our healthcare system. One of the things to improve is to design the process of how digital technology helps healthcare professionals to eliminate burnout. This will help to improve the quality of care. Number 3, provide access to special programs to receive affordable care. At the large medical centers and small community clinics for patients to receive affordable or free care for new cutting-edge therapies. Number 4, to develop an effective program to reduce costs before you go to see a doctor. Focus on prevention and identify resources to use before you see a healthcare provider. Number 5, create a system that doesn't duplicate services across different specialties. To create a platform to link hospitals and hospital networks. I'm Dr. Ludmila Schaefer, and I level the playing field of knowledge around disease prevention, research, and patient care to help you to make informed decisions. Welcome to the Doctor Connect, where we are connecting through inspiring stories and providing education and information around wellness, health, cancer, and medical technology. I'm your host, Dr. Ludmila Schaefer, medical oncologist broadcasting from Kansas City in the United States. All information discussed on this platform does not substitute your medical care. Guests on this platform sharing own stories, experiences, and conclusions. And today, our episode will be very, very tensed, but also we're going to learn a lot because I am joined by a very special guest who knows exactly how to turn and transform betrayal, trauma, rejuvenate, and make transformation. And with that, I would love to invite our first guest, Holli. Holli, welcome.
Thank you, Ludmila. It's so wonderful to see you, and I am so looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you, Holli. And it has been so many different things happen. And I know you are an author and you have so many new things coming. And the topic of betrayal, trauma, and transformation so hard, and we're going to dive deep in all conversation. But before we start, can you please tell your full name, where you're located, and a little bit of a backstory?
I sure will, Ludmila. Thank you so much. My name is Holli Kenley, and I'm located in the southern part of California near the Palm Springs area. My name is Holli Kenley. I'm a thought leader in the field of psychology and author of 10 recovery books, helping individuals bravely process their trauma so that they can create healing, first within themselves and then in their relationships. I thought, Ludmila, in sharing my story, I broke it down into 4 parts because I have a long life and I want to keep it short. So the first part is what I call my traumatic experience or my traumatic background. And this would be from birth to age 18. First, I was born into an alcoholic family system to young parents who I feel were ill-equipped to raise a young family. I was born into this system that was rigid, authoritarian, and I had always had a sense that it was emotionally unsafe and somewhat chaotic. I was the second of four daughters. I was a sensitive child and shy. I was a people pleaser. I was a peacemaker. And being one of the two older daughters, I was a parentified child. Although on a daily sense, I felt that there was this overwhelm and upset and anxiety and anger and stress, there were two defining traumatic experiences that happened to me during this part of my life. The first one happened at age 11. While I was playing at a neighbor's house, I was brutally sexually assaulted by an older teen female. I fought for quite some time and was eventually able to get away. I ran home and told an adult what had happened to me, and it was dismissed, and I was told never to speak of it again. Even at age 11, I could feel something change inside of me, and although I didn't understand my environment, I said to myself that I'm alone. I'm in this by myself. And at age 11, I made myself two promises. Number one, that whatever it was going to take, how hard I had to work in school and study my music, I was going to do whatever I needed to do so that I could leave what I would later call my betrayal environment. So I would graduate and I wanted to go away to college. And the second promise I made to myself was that if I ever had the privilege of being a mother, that I was going to do it differently. The second traumatic experience happened a couple years later. Again, I was put in harm's way. My parents arranged for me to spend a month in the summer at a relative's house in a different state. I won't go into detail, but to say that over that month, I was repeatedly victimized by deviant and disturbed few of the family members. When I returned home, of course, I didn't say anything. I had learned that that wasn't a safe thing to do, so I just stuffed it and I buried that. I'd like to just share this healing insight or concept at this time, as you've heard me use the words traumatic experiences. But trauma is what goes on inside of us as a result of what happens to us, which I'll go on to talk about in part 2.
Yeah. So, Holli, thank you so much for sharing. And I was listening to you, and it's just so difficult. Your story is so heartbroken, and you speak so firm about it. It's so strong. And you were age 11, at 11 years old, so now people playing sort of toys, and you had already thoughts at age 11. So how can we just step back for a moment and see, so why it was like age 11? Do you think there was a certain event, or it was just sort of, I know it's in between almost we becoming teenagers, but it is a very important that you were not completely child, because things happened to me at 5 years old and then later, but 11 years old. Can you tell me what exactly kind of influenced your thoughts?
Absolutely. Well, as I alluded to, Ludmila, as I was already a parentified child, a lot of the responsibilities in the home fell to my older sister and myself, including the caretaking of our two younger sisters, and a lot of other responsibilities that really age appropriately were not something that an 11-year-old would do. So I think in a lot of ways, like I said, I knew that I was on my own. I was used to kind of leading and feeling that I had control, even at age 11, of certain circumstances. There was another important thing that happened, is that I was very involved in music. And what I realized at age 11 is that when I gave to something and it gave back to me, and that was the music, I got awards and accolades and that kind of thing. And so I had this concept in my mind, is that's what drove me. If I can find something that I can give to that will give back to me, then I'm going to continue doing that. So when the environment wasn't safe, that's what contributed to it. I've got to find a different environment. I've got to find a different way of being that's going to give back to me.
So that being in a different environment, that pretty much, led, of course, already at 11 years old, you were an adult, a full adult, especially with all the responsibilities, maybe even more adult than some adults have nowadays. And so, yeah, please continue. And it's very interesting how you said this concept.
Okay, the next part would be from age 18 to my early 30s, and I call this brokenness from my traumatic experiences or background. Certainly, Ludmila, in my middle and high school and even younger, there was anxiety, there was stress, there was overwhelm, there was depression, but I just stuffed it. I just buried it because it wasn't safe to show that. I just masked it. But the thing is with trauma, if it's not tended to, that it's going to play out. So it played out for me in 4 areas predominantly. Number one, emotionally, as I had, of course, no sense of self-worth, self-esteem. I didn't have a sense of belonging, mattering, acceptance, or being loved or feeling like I was enough. Number 2, psychologically, I mentioned that I had anxiety and depression before. Well, it really began to manifest during my late teens and 20s, severe bouts of depression, anxiety, and certainly thoughts of suicidality. Relationally, in my 20s, we're going to seek to get those attachment needs met, and mine was through having relationships with highly unhealthy men. However, academically and professionally, I went to college, I graduated, I studied abroad, traveled abroad, came back, went to a school, got my teaching credential because I wanted to be able to keep that promise of choosing a different environment and being independent and be able to support myself. So the healing concept here that I just really embrace is that unless and until we tend to that trauma wound and those attachment wounds within ourselves, that we are most likely not going to be able to attach to others in healthy ways.
So, Holli, you took us through all ages and transformation. And I know that now you are bestseller author. You're beautiful, you're successful, you speak firm. Can you share with our audience, and tell a little bit, what's the best, where you are now and what exactly happened? And looking at you, obviously, I mean, it's so hard to say, and probably people who sitting right now on the couch or chair or just and listening to us, and they think, oh, that's what it is. But then they realize, oh, that's me, how I can come out. And you, as a so successful right now and leader, can you share with us, please?
I would love to, Ludmila. One of the most important, there's about 3 or 4 things. And one, just I'll go through these briefly, is in my early 30s that I was, even though I had low level depression and anxiety before, but I also had these severe bouts, is that I met a wonderful doctor. And she assessed and diagnosed and treated me for PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Back then, it was known as PMS. But this is what was important, is that she had addressed it and treated it holistically, mind, body, and spirit, through vitamins, exercise, stress reduction, sleep, nutrition, exercise, all of that. And so what happened there is that I embraced a whole new lifestyle. That became my number one priority. Number 2 is that my husband and my young daughter and I moved 500 miles away from my betrayal environment. And I just shared that because we moved up to the mountains in Southern California on 5 acres, and nature became a very healing and integral part of my healing process. Number 3 is that I entered therapy. I had a little bit of counseling in college after a suicide attempt, but I embraced the deep, hard work of trauma therapy with different therapists. I found trusted, wonderful therapists and did that hard work of healing that outer layer of shame and that inner core of shame. And then that led me to, I led some lay support groups in my early 30s, and I was so inspired by that, helping other women with PMDD, that I entered graduate school. I wanted to reach out and help other women and other males and females and anyone to shorten their stay in their pain field. So I went back to school, got my degree in psychology, became a licensed marriage and family therapist. And of course, as the universe has it, as I was helping them, that concept of shared healing and shared suffering came back to help me too. And whenever it's needed, as my clients say, Ludmila, I go back and get a 30,000-mile checkup. If I need to tend to something, I do so. And then over the years, that morphed into writing books. And thank you for mentioning that, because I wanted to reach a broader audience on the topics of betrayal and trauma, wounding, and other issues that I have experience in and expertise in. And so that led to speaking and giving workshops. And for me, Ludmila, it's all about shortening the stay in the pain field for others.
Yes, Holly, and I learned a lot about you, and with all your categories bestseller, and I know it's very much needed work. Can you share the most exciting experience now with us? What's sort of, let's just see if we can brag and take even to the next level of transformation, because I can't wait. You have so much more, and you two got through such a deep, difficult situation. But also, I would like to hear there is more. I know there is more to the story. Can you please tell us more?
Oh, thank you, Ludmila. Well, I've just over the past 15 plus years, I've just had so many incredible experiences. I do a lot of work in the area of betrayal, which you've mentioned, and I've had 2 books that were in the consistently in the top 100 on Amazon in ACOA, which is Adult Children of Alcoholics and Recovery. And they're both on betrayal, breaking through betrayal, and daughters betrayed by their mothers. And Ludmila, as wonderful as that is, and I just, believe me, what's important to me is that I'm reaching other people. And for me, what the most rewarding experience is, or what I get from this, is that I have emails and messages, direct messages, and about a month ago, and this is not uncommon, actually received 2 messages on the same day. And one was from a 26-year-old young female in Florida who had listened to the audiobook of Daughters Betrayed by Their Mothers. And she told me that it kept her from taking her own life. And she had twin 6-year-olds. And so when I lost it when I read that message. And that same day got another message from a young female in Georgia that she had been holding off going into therapy until I don't remember, she listened to the book or read it. So that's why I do what I do. I was beyond, I could, like I said, I lost it. I couldn't hold it together, but I shared those 2 stories with my publisher, and he said, Holly, that makes the late nights, it makes it all worth it.
Yes, because if people reaching out to you, and I know I would love for all our audience reach out to you, because it's all about speaking, and you are safe person. You are with open heart. And I just would like to tell everyone who is listening to us, please connect with Holly, because you will learn more gems. I know we have a very tiny time on this broadcast, but it's way more. So I cannot even imagine, Holly, when you receive those messages, how hard. But I also would like to congratulate you on such an amazing success, and so much inspiration and so much value you are bringing to all of us, including myself and our audience. Thank you, Holly, very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, if you can stay a little bit, I'm going to invite our other guest. And our next guest is Dina. If you please able to stay at the top of the hour, then we'll have a panel. Thank you, Holly. I will see you shortly.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
And with that, I would love to invite our next special guest, Dina Lobo. And everyone, thank you for staying and watching us. And thank you for being with us on the Dr. Connect show. And we have a very special guest, Dina Lobo. Dina, please tell us your full name, where you located, and a little bit of backstory. I know we have a lot to learn from you as well.
Hi, Dr. Schaefer. Thank you so much, first of all, for having me in your show. It is such a great opportunity.
Ludmila, I'm still young.
Sounds good. So my name is Dina Lobo. I am a new mom. I had my baby last year.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I'm right now on my maternity leave, and so I live in Canada, in Saskatchewan. I am a certified trauma support specialist, as well as love and authenticity practitioner. And a little backstory about myself. So last year, when my doctor told me that I had to go and give birth by myself, we all know it was COVID situation, and I was spiraling downwards, and I was not really doing well. Why? Because I myself had to deal with my own trauma that I did not process it fully. And even before I got pregnant, I had to deal with a certain diagnosis myself, which was very scary. I was going from a surgeon to a surgeon, not understanding what kind of infection I had myself. And as a result, it was so threatening to me, and thinking that if I ever got this infection in my body, if I got this flare up, how am I going to nourish my baby? How am I going to take care of my baby? I cannot think of going and having another surgery. And this was been happening for the last 5 to 6 years in my life. And one surgeon told me, okay, this is it. And then I went back and forth. And then finally I ended up getting a good surgeon who diagnosed me with fistulas that I had. And as a result, I kept getting, infections. I had flare-ups, and I had emergency situations every month that I was pregnant. I was bleeding. My count was going low. My doctor even told me that I think you would not have a baby. Like, you will have to mentally be prepared. And I remember like hours and hours, me and my husband literally crying and, wanting this baby safe and healthy. But today she is really healthy. We have a wonderful baby. And all of this was possible for me when I was able to switch that perspective. All of the time, my focus was on my trauma, my deficit, my problems. And one day I had that epiphany, that moment. My breaking point was, Dina, I wrote a letter to myself and I said, God, I'm just surrendering. I felt like I had that deep disconnect from what I was, and I never connected deeply within my soul. I was not able to embrace that best version of being a mom, of having that loving family. And when I was able to switch that perspective, and imagining growing my family, having that baby on my chest, bonding with my family, everything changed for me. I did not have any flare-ups. I was able to give a healthy, a birth, like to a healthy baby. And well, that did not end. I had to go back in a week for another surgery just after I had my baby.
After you had baby.
Yes, I had retained placenta in me. So my body was trying to get rid of me, and I had pains, just before you have your baby, you get pains. I had similar pains, and I didn't know what the heck was happening. I again thought maybe my infection was coming back, and I was breaking down. So today I want to tell your audience that we all have setbacks. We've been through different trauma. Today I want to specify that, change your perspective. Give a positive spin to it. Let us focus on putting that energy into positivity. How can I, enjoy my life, embrace that reality, embrace those setbacks? And today I want to talk more about, standing up for yourself, embracing the good and the good experiences, the bad experiences, being loved, not being loved, dealing with all kind of trauma, feeling heavy, feeling light, embracing the dark, embracing the light. So that is what I want to focus on today, Ludmila.
Yes, Dina. And first of all, congratulations on the baby. And it's just so exciting. And also it's so hard, especially having a baby during pandemic. We adults cannot sort of adjust sort of every single day, and you're a new mom and new family and baby and surgeries, but also we live our life day in and day out, some repetition and some not, and then a life event occur. But a lot of times, like, we have these triggers in life. However, when we live day to day, and the same happened to me, we kind of repetition we do, and it's so hard to get out of this circle, how I just how I move. So what was that switch? How did you make transformation? Because it's very hard. Like right now, just what am I going? Just get up and go and change things that I'm doing. It's not like it's not easy. Can you share this with us?
Definitely. I'm so happy to share my transformation with your audience. So the first thing that I want to tell is grieve your loss. It is not just for me. The loss was just grieving, when I lost my, dear ones to death. But I understood when I had that breaking point that, Dina, I'm just burying all my emotions, and that is all trapped in my body. And that is causing me a lot of trauma, right? Grieve your loss. Let's talk about pandemic last year. We lost our loved ones. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people had financial issues. A lot of people had relationship issues, broken relationships, partnerships. There were various things. And it is not a small thing today. A lot of people had different diagnoses that they went through. First step for me was grieving my loss. And it is not a small thing today. We need to really understand if we need to get up, if we need to deal with the good stuff, the first thing is deal with the bad stuff. We have to put all the pieces in that puzzle, and that's how we get that strong muscle which will help to reset our brain and help us to become that resilient person. Today we're not talking about one challenges. It is about the series of challenges, like you said, right? We've been triggered over and over. There's people living with toxic stress every single day, history of adversities. So today, the first step that I took is grieving my loss, understanding that, Dina, you are controlling over something you cannot control over. Do not focus on the problem anymore. Focus on what you can do. And that was the mindset piece. When I got that right, Ludmila, now when I get that infection, it could affect me physically, but I know emotionally and mentally, I know how to deal with it. It's never, never, never the same anymore. Why? Because I embrace that piece of me. I embrace, I know those ugly days will come, will show up, but I have developed that strong muscle within me. I know to stand up tall. I know I have a purpose in life, and I know nothing's going to stop me. So the first process is grieving the loss. Do not take it lightly. Embrace that bad experience that you have in your life, and every little thing matters today. And the second thing that I did was embracing the reality, right? It is okay that this is your reality, but things will change. But you need to understand that those dark pieces are absolutely needed. Bad experiences are absolutely needed for you. It is when we combine the two, is when we get connected to our deepest soul, when we get connected to that divinity within us, that is so empowering and that is so motivating. That will help us to push through those challenges. And that is how we deal. The first two steps are further trauma are, we get into that denial state. Today, we need to understand that problem is not a problem. Problem is our attitude to the problem. Okay, how we focus on it. What can we do that is in control of me today? When I have that flare up now, when I have that, infection now, doesn't affect me to that level that I beat up myself and I want to just, be so angry and mad and frustrated and show that confrontation and be in that denial state. Well, these are all the stages. The first is you get into the denial, you have that confrontation. Why the heck me? There are billions of people around the world, right? Why me? And then the third step is when it comes to the surface, okay, then you feel sad and then you accept. So the first two steps are grieve the loss and accept and embrace the reality.
Yeah, this is excellent tips because right now, our platform and we try to spread the message across the globe with COVID. And right now, everything is so accessible and it seems like everything's so transparent. Before were barriers, right now, all walls just down. And I think a lot of people, need it and hear this because someone who doesn't has access to expensive healthcare or, certain things, they hear this and they connect with you. Can you, Dina, please share with us how, audience can connect with you and, what I can do today or any of my friends or neighbors or people I know, sort of move forward and find you.
Yeah, I would love to get connected with you all. You can find me on social media, Dina Lobo Lewis, and I will also drop my website soon on the chat here if Ludmila can share it. But again, let's have that positive spin and let's know that the setbacks, the challenges are here for us so that, we can embrace it and have a great future and success ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dina. You've put us through so many things that after Holly speak and you right now, I really have to go and break the segment actually little pieces and basically just learn myself. Thank you, Dina. It's been such a pleasure having you. I hope you can come back and we can have more conversation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ludmila.
Yes, Dina. And if you can stay on the backstage, and then at the top of the hour, I'll bring a panel and we just would like to have conversation. Would it be okay with you?
Sounds great. I'm looking forward for it.
You're a busy young mom, but thank you so much for your time.
I put my sleep for an hour, so she's good.
Yes, thank you, Dina. I will see you in a moment. And with that, I would like to invite our very special next guest, Anna. Anna, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I know we are right now on a different in different countries and a lot of people different continent, and I'm so excited to have you on our show. Thank you, Anna. Please tell us your full name, where are you located, and a little bit of your backstory.
I will. Thank you, Ludmila, Dr. Ludmila. It's a huge honor for me to really be a part of your show. My name is Anna Veksler. I live in Toronto, Canada. I have been in Canada since 1975. I came from Russia, and I have to start from scratch. Mm-hmm. I started my education. I got myself a job, and I progressed from the clerical position. And in 30 years later, I became like I was ending my career being a senior business analyst. Through my journey, for my job, I need to be a good researcher, had good, kind of excellent, logical thinking, and also be able to connect to people. So when 4 years ago, after I lost my job because my job went offshore, I was really, I didn't know what's going to happen to me. And then a woman had asked me a question, with medical background. She asked me a question, do you know what the redox signaling molecules are? And I say, I have no idea, but I will find out. So I went on Google Scholar and I typed redox signaling molecules. And that time it was over 830,000 articles has been written. But also, the second thing I did, I typed redox signaling in cancer. And it was like 350,000. But the reason, but the reason for it was because 18 years ago, which was 4 years prior, my husband passed away. And on May, we were dancing at the wedding, 18. In June, he developed the temperature, and it was during the SARS. And so we started to do all different kinds of tests, and we realized that he had already metastasis in his liver. We did not know where it was originated. So with all the tests and everything what we have done, he was admitted to the hospital on the 2nd of July. On 15th of July, he turned 53. And in July 24, he passed away. And we were talking about healthy man. Nothing indicated that he was in trouble.
Mhm. Yeah, eating healthy, doing everything right, being young.
And
The
I have to share with you, doctor, I was really health oriented. We did juicing, we did cleansing, we did exercising, we lived a normal good life. And nothing, all of a sudden he was just gone. And this what it's prompted me to do and dedicate my research on every day for 4 years, not like educate me, share with people. And because of that, and because of my what I have done with that knowledge, I also wrote the book. I was part of the bestseller, just been bestseller within a couple of days.
Oh, congratulations, Anna! Congratulations!
With 9 other authors who shared their story and how it changed their life. And it's what it's amazing is that the book, it's called Legacy. I had not even know what the name would be. And I made myself a promise. I'm gonna share what I have learned with the people in the memory of my husband. One day at a time, one person at a time, because we have to realize that in our body, it's a cells. It's like, and I wanted to share with you how I look at it. Our body, it's like grapes in a wine.
Yeah, I have that concept.
And they're full of juice because they had just been selected. And a couple of grapes would be abnormal. And this is exactly what's going on in our body. One abnormal cell created for my husband that he passed away within days, but in the same time, he was not well, and that abnormal cells just developed into his body. So the more I learned, the more I was able to share. And it helped me obtain better vision. I stopped taking medication for my high blood pressure and also thyroid. But the best of it was that by sharing with people, when they call you and say, thank you for your research, thank you for your education, it just made my life so complete. It's because I became that redox between the people and their health.
Yeah, so you are bridging the gap between all this heavy and how the disease and the transforming. And I'm very, very sorry about your husband. And this is so powerful of you come and speak with the audience. It's never easy to speak about difficult situations. And we just heard from Holly and Dina. And so thank you for sharing this. But how did you how did you decide you call your book Within Legacy? Can you share some tips, what you share in the book, if it's possible? I urge everybody buy book for Anna, but can you share a couple of tips also with us?
You know what, to tell you the truth, I shared my story with a producer. They decided that we have to let the public that we had 9 authors. Each and every one of us had a different experience. And in my book, I had no idea that it was legacy, but I have to tell you, I had no idea that that would be the name. But what blessing to be able to share what I learned and be able to share somebody's persons who I was able, through my knowledge, whatever I shared with them, to change their life and the life of their family. That I can leave that for my grandchildren. Just the fact that I was open-minded enough to be able to learn and to study and dedicate my life in the last 4 years. And I'm looking forward to do what I am doing for the rest of my life. And I'm going to just share very, very fast. Somebody asked me a question.
Mm-hmm.
What some people will say when they're going to read your eulogy. And I say, if somebody is going to say that this woman can help me sleep through the night when I was not sleeping for 12 years, this woman can help me to breathe without inhaler that I was using it 5 or 10 times. Even if this one is going to be said to me, I'm going to be grateful. And I will say thank you from the sky.
This is so powerful. This is very powerful. Thank you for saying this. And the things that you evolve and how you took on this journey. And I think that a lot of people that would be listening right now will embrace, because we are hiding those issues. And unless people like you show that we have to come out, we have to write the book, we have to carry, legacy, we don't know. You didn't even know. But the legacy, that's what actually, like people saying, connecting the dots and now looking back. But you are now on a whole new journey. And a lot of people looking up. And when I reach out to you, it's just such an honor to have you here. And I would love also to hear, what is your next project, or 5 years or 10 years or 20 years from now? Where do you think we can take this together to the next level?
It's infinity. Because today, and I wanted just to mention it, I think this is important. Even on Google Scholar, when they're talking about the COVID, they're still saying that it's a redox disease. It's because it kills redox in communication between the cells in our body. Mm-hmm. So my journey, it's not going to finish. I know that my husband put me on this road. And I think that I was lucky enough that somebody asked me the question. Because doing today, when there's a pandemic, when the people stopped working, when the people could not leave the house, I have no idea what I would have done if I wouldn't have this.
Yeah.
I have no idea how mentally I'm gonna be degraded as I'm like without any vision, without any future. But today I hope I'm gonna make a difference in another life, and that will be just a blessing.
Yeah, and I think you already did, because I think that this should be called transformation with infinity, and that's where we are. So thank you. This is a very, very powerful Anna, thank you so much. It's so hard to speak about those vulnerable heart moments. And from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate. But also, I want to say thank you. Thank you on the behalf of all of us that, we carry. And I also would love to see if we can continue conversation with our guests, with Holli and Dina. Thank you, Anna. And I would love also to ask, before we go to our next panel, if how the people can connect with you. How did they find you?
Well, I opened a special page that called "Be Well Down to Yourselves," where I share the doctors, the science, the testimonials, where it's important just to see that the people are really saying the truth. They are not pretending. They're real people, share the real story. And this is exactly what we have. Like meeting with Holli, with Dina, we meet real people who went through a certain tragedies in their life. This is not pretending. This real story that the people have to hear. And this is exactly what I'm sharing on my Facebook.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna, very much. And if you please stay with us, and we will be right back. I'm going to bring our guest. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for being with us. So much appreciate. And now we have a panel, and there's so many important vulnerable moments that we share. And with that, this is the Dr. Connect show. And today we are discussing about betrayal, trauma, transformation, and infinity transformation. And how do we actually recuperate? And we are almost at the top of the hour. We have several minutes, but I really would love, each of you, let's connect, let's open a little discussion, and maybe just talk between ourselves. So, who would you like to go first?
I can go first.
Excellent.
I'm here to say that whatever your challenges are, even if you're living in toxic stress, if you have a history of adversity problems or any kind of trauma, it could be childhood trauma that you're carrying in and that trapped energy within you, those bruises that go deep in, and you feel that disconnect from your physical body to your soul. Today, take the time to realize that your setbacks are here, your challenges are here, and let them be your springboard. Let them be your turning point. Let them be, if you consider runway, let them be a takeoff point in your life. Let those challenges be something that you're going to embrace today, every part of your life, so that going forward, it need not look the same. Take that time today and sit with that discomfort and do not bury those emotions anymore. Take that time to understand where in different areas in your life that you need to improve. It could be relationships, it could be your finances, it could be your career, it could be various different things, different challenges. It could be family trauma that you're going through, your relationship trauma, right? And understand today that, consider this analogy. Bow and arrow, right? It depends on how far you take the bow, the arrow, for it to launch forward. It determines how far, you take the arrow backwards for it to launch forward. So today, let your setbacks be that turning point in your life. Embrace every situation, good, bad, like I said, right? You going through the good experience and the bad experience. For myself, if I hadn't had that baby during COVID, if I hadn't been through those multiple surgeries, if I hadn't dealt with my trauma and converting my family relationship traumas, me losing my loved ones, and me myself, I wouldn't have been here talking to you, Ludmila, or teaching people today. So continue, your positive communication, have self-awareness. That first thing needs to start from within yourself. Reaffirm that. Tell yourself, go up to the mirror, walk. to the mirror and say how often we say to ourselves that, Dina, I love you. Call your name out loud and say that out loud.
Yeah, no, it's hard to say. Yes.
Exactly.
That's
Real loud. Yeah. Say that you're so deserving of all these friendships and all the love in your life. And, put that positive spin in every situation. Wherever you have that dip, our life need not look like a roller coaster. When you have that dip, you need to have those tools to bounce right back. So take that time today and embrace that negative part. Because remember, deal with the bad stuff to get to the good stuff.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you. I think each of us on the panel just say our name and then I love you. 1, 2, 3. I love you.
Yeah, I love you.
Love you.
How powerful is that, right? That is very powerful.
Wow, that's powerful. I've never had anything like this experience.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And I also love to put sticky notes everywhere. And if that's the thing that resonates with you, with your audience, put up notes that, where it is reaffirming to you. And that self-talk needs to start from within you. Because remember, it is you who will love you. It is you who can build you. It is you who can destroy you. So today it's your choice.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dina. Holli, I don't know if you're going to start from I have to do this. I love you. I don't know. That's
I'm learning so much today. Thank you both, Dina and Anna. And I think I would just offer up that when both Dina and Anna were speaking, I just thought too for a minute about how during the difficult times, especially when I was a child, I wanted so badly for someone to save me. Mm-hmm. And I think what we're saying here today, that there's different paths and there's different ways of going about it, but we have to choose to save ourselves so that we can help others. There's a beautiful quote that I came across during COVID as I was working on my next book, and it's by Stephen Goudier, and he says, "Seeds of change lie dormant within, and even more than you can imagine will grow there if given a chance." So I just wanted our audience to know that seeds of change lie dormant within, and that I would ask them to do 3 things. Number 1, to be both brave and vulnerable. Number 2, to save yourself, to choose you. And then number 3, what we're talking about here today, there's different paths, there's different wellness paths and journeys. Trust one, find one, research it, find one that resonates with you so that you can make that choice to choose you, because it's not what's wrong with you, it's what happened to you. And I believe that healing begins by sharing our story, all of our story, and find that process that works for you.
Yeah, thank you, Holli. I absolutely agree, because a lot of times, in a child, we want to be saved, and sometimes we just have to do ourselves. And, maybe that's just why I moved all the way across the ocean and, found, and that's why want to go forward right now and inspire. I don't know if I shared with you or not. I'm finishing my book. Of course, ladies, I am on a very low. I don't belong here on a stage with all of you being successful. But what I'm saying that yes, save, and sometimes it takes. And I sort of believe that I also saved myself. Move sort of forward. But today it's not about me. So, Anna, your last tip.
What I'm asking people is to have an open mind, because open mind, it allows people to believe that something unbelievable can be true, because it also opens our minds to meet wonderful people. And if I wouldn't have an open mind, I would have never been on this show today. What a privilege. Mm-hmm. And these people judge people sometimes for no reason. And just because they assume or whatever. So I'm urging people to be open-minded, to do the research before saying no. Meet wonderful people like you, doctor, like Dina, like Holly, and just make a difference, one person at a time. Because I think my husband put me on this road, and I'm gonna be responsible and takes what it's needed and go forward. And I'm inviting you all to join me.
Yes, and we are joining.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like now, I think with all this, power, and only together we combine. And sometimes it just, we don't realize, the path we are until actually someone sort of, take it, pull it out. And I learned a lot from all of you today. And thank you so much for joining such a powerful message. And it's my honor to have you with me on the show. So thank you so much. And unfortunately, time flies so fast, and we're already at the top of the hour, and I would love to connect. And I also urge all audience, please connect with Holli Kenley, with Dina Lobo, Anna Veksler, and you will find a new transformation with infinity.
Yes, I love that.
And with that, thank you very much.
Was very powerful, Ludmila. Was
Very, yes.
Ourselves learned so much today, and it's all of these opportunities that get these like-minded people together. And today, honestly, I think we did a wonderful job, and probably there's so many people resonating with us. And this transformation is going to be a priority for all of your audience and for everybody listening. And for us, I encourage myself today, I'm going to share this with my family, with my friends, with everyone.
And
Yeah.
doctor, this is because of you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
need that.
You are thought leaders. And I think we also need to uncover other people who thought leaders, and they just don't know that yet. So
Yes.
let's bring together and move forward. And with that, thank you very much for being with us on the Dr. Connect show. And join and subscribe our YouTube channel as well. And comment. And also, we would love to hear your story. We are super excited to have you on our journey with us. And thank you for watching and listening. And we are looking forward to seeing you in the next one. And with that, bye-bye. We'll see you
Bye.
soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Ludmila.
I'm Dr. Ludmila Schaefer, and I level the playing field of knowledge around wellness, medicine, and research to help you to make informed decisions.